Guys, today we're going to cover referrals, and that's one of my favorite topics. I think it's one of the most under focused thing that is pretty much within the roofing industry. That was terribly worded, but the point is people don't give referrals even close to enough attention. And one referral can be hundreds of thousands in revenue. One referral partner, rather, can be hundreds of thousands in revenue for you, and people just sleep on him, and they just casually throw out a referral program that really doesn't move the needle much and doesn't really get people excited. So we're going to cover what a referral program should look like, but before we even do that, we're going to cover why they're so important and go over a little of just how to think about them and how to make sure that you're always able to properly take advantage of referrals. And we're going to tell you from A to Z how to do it. This is going to be one of those trainings where you're wondering why I'm giving so much away for free. And the reason is because I want you to win. So let's do it. There we go. Start from the beginning. Boom. All right, everyone see this? Everyone see my screen? Looks good. You see the title? Give me a thumbs up, someone. Yeah. All right.
I see it. Yep.
Thank you. All right. So this training, do not keep treating referrals like an afterthought. They matter and we need to act like it. As I was just saying a few seconds ago, referrals are one of the biggest gold mines within any business, but a roofing business especially, because people don't know how to make a decision around who they should use as a roofing company. And when they don't know how to make a decision, they're going to generally just base it off of price. And most people are going really, really heavy in the sales and marketing, and they're getting better. They're trying to create better sales presentations. They're trying to get seen more, get ranked higher on Google, all those things, which is fine. But with all the focus that is on just, let's see, how can we market? How can we get more and more leads? How can we get more and more leads? It's really, really wild how often people skip the best lead source possible, or they think that it just happens by chance and they don't realize that they can harness this whole thing and take a lot of control over it. So we got to stop treating referrals like an afterthought. First thing that we just want to cover, some of the basic advantages that we all know, but a good recap. Referrals have higher close rates. A referred lead, they already trust you and they're just easier to convert. There's a lower cost per acquisition. So if you are running ads or doing SEO or any of those things, referrals are almost always going to be cheaper, even if you have a pretty hefty referral reward and fee. They're usually better clients because they are people who aren't just constantly analyzing you, and they see that you've done well for one of their friends or family, so they kind of just let you do your thing. And my favorite concept in all of business and pretty much life is compounding growth. Referrals are a compounding growth engine. So every happy customer can bring multiple new leads, creating a flywheel effect. So what that means is one referral can get you a few appointments. A couple of those can close. Then each one of those can give you a few more referrals, and so on. So it compounds. One turns to two, two turns to two more. Those two more each turn into two more, etc. It gets pretty crazy. So we need to make sure that we're taking these seriously. This is pretty much a grand slam opportunity that we don't really put a whole lot of energy and focus into. And it's not just enough to casually mention that we have a $250 referral fee and call it a day. And I talk to roofing companies all over, and I have for 10 years. And this is what people say when I ask about the referral program almost every time. There's very few times where they have something much more built out than, oh, well, we let people know that we give them $250 for a referral, or $300, or $400, or even $500. Maybe they're really proud of the number, but that's what they think a referral program is, and it just isn't. That's just the reward. That's not a program. That's not a system. That's nothing other than, hey, this is what you're compensated if someone comes your way. But very few people have a process. And when people do have a process, a lot of the time the process just forgets or skips the fact that no homeowner just automatically knows other people who need a new roof. Now, sometimes they may happen to know someone, or it might come up, but that could be way down the road and we don't really have any control over it. And even when they do know somebody right off the bat, if that's the only time we're relying and we're hoping to get the referral, then it just becomes tough. Because honestly, a good roofing business's main job is to get the homeowner to stop thinking about roofing anymore. We don't want them to think about the roof. So we need to make sure that we're figuring out how can we maximize the experience that we give them in a way that ensures that we can get in front of as much of their network as possible. And how can we make getting in front of their network as easy and seamless as possible? So that's what we're going to cover towards the end when we look at the structure and everything. We need to treat generating referrals as just as important as any marketing or sales processes. Everyone is always talking about the Facebook ads, the Google ads, or this is how we're approaching sales, or even they come to me and they ignore almost the referral systems that I talk about when I say we help you get more jobs in the areas you're working and more clients from who you're working with. They just focus on the neighborhood marketing stuff, which is great. And I love the neighborhood marketing, and I want to make sure everyone understands how important it is. But the referral side of things becomes a huge afterthought. So what we want to do is make sure that that no longer is the case, because this is actually one of the easiest lifts that we can create in your business. So psychology behind referrals. I think one of the things that we want to do to really solidify and make sure that all of us are clear on not just how and why it's important, but what really needs to happen in order for someone to give you a referral is understanding the actual psychology going on, because it's pretty simple. But once we understand it, it will become something that you can't ignore. So I want to make sure that if you've never put the thought that we're going to go over into this, then we need to. And I challenge you, because you are going to see this, you're going to read this, you're going to think, yeah, I know that, I know that, I know that. And while you may, if you've never thought hard about what it means, what you know, and what that really means for how you could potentially be growing your business, or how you could be treating your processes and how you could be organizing and structuring things, then you need to take another look and really think about the why behind all this stuff. So the first question that we have to ask before we even go into referrals is just generally, what needs to happen for someone to hire your company? And there's a million things, right? There's a lot of things that we need to get organized. There's a lot of things that we need to make sure that the homeowner experiences. There's things that happen that's just on their end, and there's things that happen that you have to present and structure. But some of the main ones are, you have to have trust and credibility in some way. So that could be just a strong reputation. Maybe it is that they've seen you're referred. You have some reviews. You have a professional presence. Perceived value. You have to have competitive pricing, a clear differentiation if you're not priced exactly like everyone else or lower, and potentially risk-free offers like the manufacturer or workmanship warranties. In that same light, they have to have some ease of working with you and feel like it's going to be an easy process, not a hard process, and confidence that you're going to get the job done. So you have to be able to present a simple process. You have to be good at communicating, and they have to know and understand clear next steps. And then affordability and urgency, which means either financing options and just a good reason to act now. So a lot of these stuff have overlap, but in general, these are some of the main factors that people are going to have checked off in order to make a decision. And if one of these, say you don't have any reviews or a good website or a stronger reputation because you're a brand new company, then you're likely going to have to overcompensate in some of these other areas. So this is not an easy feat. Now, it's what we do every day. It's what our days are filled with. So it's kind of just the norm, but it's not necessarily easy. In fact, it takes time, and it's why business isn't just some simple thing where you can put $1 in and get $5 out, because there's a lot of different factors that are happening that we need to really make sure are checked off and taken care of as we're trying to sell someone. What happens when someone, say these nice people, are introduced to you, the roofer, by a friend or family member whose roof you replaced? So we still have all these things that have to happen, but here's the cool thing. Most of them have been checked off before you even enter into a sales process. And this is the beauty of it. We get to skip huge portions of the high friction sales process when we are doing business with someone that we were referred to by a happy client who already did the work. They did the work to make sure we were trustworthy and credible. They did the work to make sure that our pricing was fair and that there was a differentiation and that we had some good warranties and all the stuff that people need to make a decision. You already provided a great experience, so the ease and confidence side of things is a little bit less worried about because they know someone else had a great experience. And from an affordability perspective, they know that, okay, well, if the Joneses were able to replace their roof and afford Brad the roofer, then we probably can too. So they're a lot less worried about a lot of these things that previously have to happen in the sales process that now we get to, at the very least, skip around and move a little faster through, even if we even have to check them off at all. A lot of the time, it kind of becomes just an order taking and project logistics conversation rather than a sales conversation. A lot of the time, they're talking to only you and not talking to 5 other roofers. So there's a huge advantage here. We get to skip a huge part of the sales process because they already know someone who used you, enjoyed the experience, and treated you well. And what we're really taking advantage of, if we want to go back to elementary school math, all of our favorite subjects, I'm sure, is the transitive property. If A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So if a homeowner trusts their friend and their friend trusts your roofing company, then the homeowner is more likely to trust your roofing company. The example is homeowner A trusts homeowner B. Homeowner B recommends your roofing company. Homeowner A now trusts your company based on that recommendation. So we are able to pass a lot of the work that we had to do with homeowner A and skip it once it's time to actually work with homeowner B. Now, that doesn't mean that we skip all the things that would make us referral worthy. In fact, I would argue that while everyone is focusing on what I think is the wrong things, if you have listened to my videos, listening to my trainings, I think all of us should be obsessed in business about being referral worthy, about delivering an experience that is referral worthy. And so when we're looking at how to be referral worthy, there's some simple things we can look at. I mean, there's a million things, but some big ones are we have to have quality workmanship. So we need to make sure that we legitimately are better than our competition, or at least striving to be when it comes to our installs. And I know a lot of us are using subcontractors, and sometimes your competitors are using the same subcontractors. We need to understand what we are selling to a degree that we can give direction to the people who are installing it. There's little simple things that we can do that we can understand. We can understand ventilation and go to the workshop so we understand ventilation better than almost any other roofing contractor to make sure that we are able to pass on that benefit to the homeowners. We can make sure that we are spending a little bit of extra money on material to put ice and water around every penetration rather than just the valleys. Speaking of valleys, we can do W valley rather than just a standard ice and water if we want to get fancier. We can make sure we're always using high profile ridge. There's little things that we can do. I have a client in Maine who automatically upgrades every single one of his clients to Landmark Pro rather than just normal max def certainty. It's definitely more expensive for him, but because of that, he knows and has conviction and is confident, and his clients know and understand that he is installing a high quality roof, a better than average roof, better than the competition roof. Clear and proactive communication. We want to make sure that we're keeping people updated before they have to ask. We don't want to just play defense with our communication. We want to make sure that we find ways to communicate and ensure that our homeowners are always in the loop. We want to have respect for the property. So that's why I love catch-all. Do I think catch-all is the most efficient and effective way to protect a home during a roofing project? No. I think there's probably tarps that would work better. I think that just setting up some plywood in strategic places probably is better protection. But catch-all is making a show out of the fact that we are protecting their landscape and their property and turning that into a marketing tool. Friendly and professional crew. We have to make sure that we're not tolerating our crew members smoking cigarettes on the roof and playing loud music and drinking beers. And as much as I know this is not fun, like they can't just all be like taking a siesta in the front yard. And like you can't think that that's not going to be noticed and be kind of looked down on by the neighbors and by the homeowner who you're working with. It's a strange feeling when the people who are supposed to be working on your house, you walk outside to the front yard and they're all laying down with their hats over their face on their lunch break. Like you want them to be taken care of, but we have to actually think of what the perception is of homeowners. And these are difficult conversations to have with your crews. But we have to make sure that we are being referral worthy. And then over delivering. Over deliver on expectations. Give them an upgrade that you didn't talk about. If there is a problem, solve it fast. Add little surprises. It doesn't have to just be an upgrade. We have a client that does something I think is amazing, which is they spend some of the rapport building time in the initial inspection and try to find a unique little $50 to $100 gift that they can give a client that's specific to something they picked up in the conversation or that they saw around their house. It might be a jersey of their favorite sports team. It might be a retro sign for a radio station that they used to love. Like whatever it is, those are actual examples. It might be a little dog toy for their dog, which is not 30 or 50 to $100, but like it's like just a little thoughtful thing. So find ways to wow them and do things that they could almost never have expected you to do, but that when they see it and receive it, they think it's awesome. So we can look at how to be referral worthy, and we could probably think of a lot more things than this. And then what we can pretty easily do is reverse engineer what our process needs to look like in order to check every one of these boxes over and over and over again. What conversations need to happen with our team in order to check the boxes? Maybe It will help us choose which crews we want to use and not want to use. So the obsession needs to be being referral worthy. And I think in general, the roofing industry has really gotten away from just keeping the main thing the main thing. When people say a roofing company is just a sales and marketing company, I think that is massively oversimplified at best and dangerous at worst. You're a customer service and customer experience company. How can you deliver a great customer service and great customer experience? By checking off a lot of different things and making sure that you're installing a very good roof. And the outcome of that, hopefully, can be getting more referrals. And we can organize a referral process, which we'll cover in a second. But we need to keep the main thing, and we need to obsess about being referral worthy. This is likely going to create a significant amount more business for you than trying to figure out the algorithm on Facebook ads or dealing with Google. We all know what's happening right now with the reviews missing. You don't have control over that. You do have control over doing these activities that would make you referral worthy. So what we want to do is think, how can you reverse engineer what would make you referral worthy and make it the standard in how you do business? And this is something that each of you probably should write down as like something to reflect on as you're considering what to do with this training. How can you reverse engineer what would make you referral worthy and make it the standard in how you do business? This is something that will truly make you feel better every day, get you better leads, get you more happy clients, better reviews. It will be one thing that once you get this figured out, will create a lot of positive benefits in many other areas. But it's not really thought about as much as finding the perfect marketing company. And that's a problem, but also that's an opportunity. So it also gives you a chance to have sales reps and project managers focus on customer experience rather than just focusing on sales and generating appointments, which I know sort of sounds counterintuitive, but at the end of the day, if you're just selling all the time, it's pretty exhausting. That's more of a taking thing. Now, of course, if you have a massive conviction in what you're doing and in your product, you're giving them the opportunity to work with you and your company. In order to maximize conviction, become a referral worthy business. So it's an unlock there as well. It'll keep your sales reps happy. It'll be a driver of culture. It keeps the main thing the main thing. The thing is, we have to trust the process. And you will hear me say this on pretty much every training where I'm talking about specific tactics we need to work on and we can put within our businesses. We have to trust that all of this work will be worth it. We have to trust that homeowners do make decisions in this way. We have to trust that just because a few people are purely price-based doesn't mean everyone is purely price-based. You need to be a referral worthy business because it's the right thing to do and the best way to run your business, not because it has to generate a referral every time. And we're going to talk about how to make sure it generates a referral from the majority of your clients. But it can't be the only reason you're doing it because otherwise you're just going to burn out. It won't stick. If it is ingrained in how you want to show up within your business, and you maybe even need to just think of it, other than being referral worthy, you're like, what else? What other adjectives could this be? Like the best, maybe? Maybe we can define being the best by not who's has the most leads coming in, but rather who's delivering the best experience. Now, I always am saying, and everything I teach also is very specific on like when we keep the main thing, we need to make sure that we bring as much attention to it as possible so that we can maximize what ideally is a good outcome of it, which is more business, more leads, more referrals, stuff like that. but that needs to be an outcome. It can't be the entire reason that you're doing it. It needs to be just a nice outcome that you trust will happen if you do the right things and put in the right inputs. So that is the psychology and some of the things and benefits of just building a referral-based business. But now I want to go through the math, and I'm going to try to do this relatively quickly because I don't want people's eyes to glaze over. People ask often, how much should you pay for a referral? And it is a good question, but a better question is, how much do you currently pay for an appointment when you're doing it in other channels? And this math that I'm kind of going to cover today is pretty much what made me sell my marketing agency and go all in on what I'm doing now. Because it's usually not scalable when we just look at individual channels, Facebook ads, Google ads, even SEO for the most part as it's getting started. So I can't tell you specifically what your numbers are because every number, every market is unique, but I can tell you averages of just what across the country generally will look like. And this is based off real experience. This isn't just based off of asking around. This is based off of running a marketing agency that had hundreds of roofing clients before I started doing what I do now. Door knocking. Generally, the cost is time and salespeople and potential compensation that they might have. Like if you have a salary, if they're getting draws or something like that. For an appointment, generally, by the time you get the actual sit down, it's going to be $150 to $200 in ad spend. For pay-per-click, by the time you actually sit down, it's usually going to be $200 to $300 in ad spend. For Home Advisors or Angie's List or most of those lead providers, it's usually going to be about $180 to $360 by the time you actually sit down. And for SEO, it's very tough, but if we're just looking at averages and looking at like the management fee over time, it'll get lower, but it'll be somewhere in the $100 to $500 range. You may get 4 appointments a month at the very beginning phases on like a $2,000 a month SEO budget, or by the time the SEO is really kicking off, you might get 20 appointments a month. So huge range. SEO, out of all the marketing channels and all the things you could pay an agency to do, SEO is 100% the most valuable because it gets better and better over time as long as the person's doing the right thing and as long as Google doesn't be a jerk. So that was cost per appointment. Now looking at closing rates. Door knocking, let's say the average appointment closes at 25%. Facebook, let's say the average appointment closes at 15 to 20%. These are usually lower quality appointments from Facebook ads, not always, but often. Pay-per-click, let's say the average appointment is 35 to 40%. Home Advisor in the 20 to 30% range. SEO 40 to 50%. So these are also mostly based off of data with some liberties, but generally based off of data. So when we look at what the next and the most important number is, cost per sale, we have to look at what's the cost of generating an appointment and what's the closing rate of that appointment. And then we can look at what the actual cost per sale is. If you don't have this number, cost per acquired customer, CAC, which is kind of a funny word to say, but CAC, easy to remember, that's cost per acquired customer. That is an incredibly important number to have within your business. And if you ever get on a sales call with me, I'm going to ask you what your cost per acquisition is or your CAC. And if you don't know the answer, you probably just gave me more information than you realize about what bottlenecks you have within your business. And it's okay. That's why I do what I do. A lot of people don't know the answer, but it's an incredibly important number. So we have to look at all three: cost per appointment, closing rate, and then what the estimated cost per sale is. Cost per appointment with door knocking is difficult. Door knocking could be a great channel though there's definitely risks to your reputation if you do it wrong or if you're in the wrong neighborhood. I'm not against door knocking at all, but I will say it's a difficult way to grow a business and keep salespeople happy generally. Facebook appointment. We're in the $150 to $200 range per sit down. They're going to close on average at a 15 to 20% rate. So the cost per sale in ad spend only is going to be $750 to $1333 per sale. Not terrible. Pay per click, $200, $300. Closing rate, 25% to 35% in ad spend, going to be in the range of $571 to $1,200 per sale on pay per click. Home Advisor, $180 to $360 per appointment, 20 to 30% average closing rate, $600 to $1,800 per sale. An SEO, $100 to $500 per appointment, 40 to 50% close rate, $200 all the way up to $1,250 if you're just at the beginning of an SEO campaign in a cost per sale. These numbers are just an ad spend other than SEO. So we're not counting management fees. We're not counting commission. We're not counting your general overhead. This is difficult to scale, especially on the higher end. An $1,800 cost per acquisition is really difficult to scale. We need to make sure that we're aware of these numbers, because if you're not, but you are spending money on marketing and you currently don't have as much money in the bank as you feel as though you should or as you want, the answer likely lies in your commission structure if you're paying salespeople, your general overhead, and your cost per acquisition. So if you don't know those numbers, and if you don't have clear math on what these averages are, it's important. The company can't survive on like not even a net, but $400 or $500, $600 per job, because you still have net afterwards and you still have taxes. So we just need to be careful about that. I already said this, but worth noting, Facebook ads and pay-per-click are just based off of ad spend, so it's not factoring in the potential $1,000 to $3,500 a month management fee, depending on who you have doing it. And SEO is based off of a management fee of $2,000, though some agencies are in the $4,000 to $5,000 range for SEO, and some are even higher than that. And the good ones are even higher than that, which is tough. Finding a really good SEO company that charges $2,000 a month isn't that easy. They exist. If you want some names, let me know, but not that easy. So with all that information, now how much does it cost per sale? That was what we just covered. How much should we pay for a referral? If you paid just $200 for a referral, it would cost the same as your lowest cost per acquisition out of all that we just mentioned, which is a budget-friendly and established SEO campaign that's generating 20 appointments per month. So the question is, are you generating 20 appointments per month from a $2,000 per month SEO fee and closing them at 50%? If not, then referrals already won as your best and lowest potential cost per acquisition. So more examples of why it needs to be obsessed about and focused on. So 99% of you, that's not happening, which means your average cost per acquisition is probably on the higher side. And the point is, referrals create some of the lowest cost to acquire customers your business can generate. And even if you are purely referral based or you're just knocking doors, I would challenge you to look closely at the different variable costs within your business, because that would probably be where you could find that maybe you are spending a little more money than you realize on marketing or on sales, on generating sales, and you just haven't necessarily categorized it in that way. So just look at those, do the math. It's not terribly hard. If you ever need help, I am so happy, whether you're a paid client or not, to help you do this math. And if you just say, Brad, I just want the math, I don't want to talk about your program or anything like that, That's okay too. This math is really important. And I would definitely say I did my good deed for the day if I was helping someone understand this math that didn't previously understand it. The other advantage of referrals is if we look at this same slide, these costs per acquisition, 750 to 1300, 571 to 1200, $600 to 1800, $200 to 1250, these different scenarios of what your cost per acquisition is. I don't think that you should just stop doing these different strategies. In fact, I think you should do these strategies, but prioritize generating referrals and giving referral worthy experiences and having a structured process for getting referrals. Because if you added even a $300 referral fee to any of these cost per acquisitions, then divided by 2, because you got a referral from the sale, it would drastically decrease your cost per sale. So on Facebook, it would go from 750 to 1333 to 525 to 816. Most of you can scale with those numbers. Pay per click, 571 to 1200, it would go to 435 to 750. These are very scalable cost per acquisitions. And this is just by adding one referral in per job. Home Advisor, which everyone hates and everyone thinks is just so expensive and miserable, that $600, you could go to $450 to $1,050 cost per acquisition. And even this $1,050, you could scale a company with this as your cost per acquisition if you're really organized with some other things. Now, I'm not suggesting that you necessarily add all this, but I am saying if you are spending money on marketing, and that is kind of a required flow of jobs that you need because you don't have the current referral network to justify your overhead and the growth that you're looking to achieve, or you just are aggressive, developing a really strong referral process on top of this marketing will absolutely help you in a huge way be in a better spot and be able to scale your marketing a lot further. It's not all on the agency. It's on you. These are averages. These are a good agency would be getting you these numbers. But these numbers might not be very friendly to your bank account. So does that mean you don't run ads or do SEO or buy leads? Not necessarily. It means if you do, you have to prioritize getting referrals. SEO, this is where it gets really crazy. SEO would go from 200 to 1250, but if you add a referral fee, because once again, I mentioned SEO is probably the best thing to hire a marketing agency for, you could actually increase your cost per acquisition if your SEO was pretty, like really crushing it. The only thing is you can't scale SEO. It's not a lever like some of the other ones where you can just put in more money. There's a cap at some point. So adding $50 to your cost per acquisition, but generating that additional profit is a pretty good trade-off. But the point is, like, you have to be able to know these numbers and do this math. I mentioned it before, but referrals are a compounding vehicle, which means one can turn into many. A referral can turn into a job that turns into another referral. These linear results, which is the Facebook ads and the Google ads and the Home Advisor, they don't really do it justice because all I'm doing is showing what happens when you add one referral, but you could get way more than one. A referral partner can send you multiple referrals rather than just one. So it's like really important to remember how this stuff works and how this stuff can seriously impact your bottom line. And it also means that almost always having referral strategies in place will drive down the cost per acquisition and allow you to spend less and get more, or allow you to make more and spend more if you want to go that way. Referrals close at a higher rate. We polled our clients about a year ago when I made a training similar to this, and they said referrals close between 50 to 75% generally. This was probably about 30 people that we polled. So pretty impressive. And let's assuming they just close at 50%, and we do have like a $50 per appointment on top of a referral fee, but we close at 50%, then you pay $200 to $250 reward for closing the deal. You're still going to be decreasing your cost per acquisition. So we can get creative on how we structure the referral process and referral program, which is how I'm going to talk about in a second. So structuring and incentivizing the right things, we're creeping up till the end, but this is probably going to be the most like actionable part of the training. The other stuff was kind of the build up to why you need to obsess about referrals and being referral worthy, and how if you are running ads or spending money on marketing, you have to pretty much have a referral process. Otherwise, you're really going to struggle to scale any marketing budget. So now we have to make sure we're structuring and incentivizing the right things, because our number one goal first is to be referral worthy. But if we are referral worthy, then it makes it pretty easy to get referrals as long as we have the right strategies to get them. So we need to look at referral generating activities versus referral generating activity outcomes. I mentioned at the very beginning, it's not enough just to have a $250 per referral program and call it a day, and just to throw it out there after you did a good job with the client. One, you have to do the work to become referral worthy, but that's a whole other conversation. But you also have to look at what referral generating activities someone has to take in order to get you a referral appointment, or ideally a referral close. If we don't focus on those things and we just talk about the $250 referral reward, we're leaving a lot to chance, because if everyone knew someone that needed a new roof, none of us would be on this call, and we would all be making a lot more money than we are making. If everyone just automatically knew everyone in their friend group or network that needed a new roof, then you would know who needed a new roof. You obsess about roofs, they don't. So how would they know when you don't? We need to remember that. Most people set up referral programs in a way that are super passive, because the homeowners don't know who to even refer. So they're just waiting until they happen to see someone on Facebook who says, I'm looking for a roofer, and you hope that they're in the mood and they have time to tag you, because they probably don't even remember about the $250 per referral by the time that even happens. And that's part of why a lot of people have a referral program, but then when you ask them if they actually pay it out, they don't. I bet some of you on this call have said, hey, yeah, we had $250 a referral. But then when someone tagged you in a post and you got that lead and you closed the deal, you didn't pay the $250. Your client's probably not mad at you. They probably barely remember. But the point is, you said you're going to do something and you didn't. But the reason is because we have so much space between when you actually mentioned there was a referral program and when you got the referral. We need to tighten that. And the way we do is by focusing on referral generating activities. So examples of referral generating activities is talking to friends, tagging you in a Facebook post in a Facebook group, giving you 10 phone numbers, etc. We just need to think, what are all the little things that they could do to give us or help us generate referrals? Referral generating outcomes, it's really just two things. You get an appointment or lead from them, or you get a sale from the proposal or from the referral. So these versus this. The best structure for a referral program takes all of this into an account. And we need to have things organized to where it's all being considered, and we have a small little dopamine hit that we can get for the whole process. So we need to incentivize referral generating activities, early wins of referral generating activities like an appointment, and referrals. Does that create more complexity? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. I promise you, getting good at tracking and making sure you have this stuff in place, even if it's a little extra work, is going to generate you more business than just keeping your referral program simple. And if you need to keep it simple for now, that's okay, but at least referral generating activities and referrals. And I'll show you how we can actually look at this and track it, because really it's less incentivizing and giving like, here's a dollar here, here's a dollar here, here's a dollar here. And it's more, how can we have all this set up in a way to where it works together to get the quickest bump and the quickest referrals coming in as a result of the great referral worthy experience you gave the customer. So my favorite structure is creating a gate to join and a gate to be a referral partner. Then compensation for easy wins, which would be $25 or $50 per appointment, and then compensation for a closed referral. We can have parameters around all this. A closed referral has to be a full re-roof that's at least this much in revenue. The $25 has to be someone who's interested and willing to get their project completed in the next 90 days. But this is the real power. This is such a simple referral generating activity that we can have our clients do. Just to talk about the referral worthy experience that we gave them. They might not know who in their network needs a new roof, but there's a good chance someone in their network needs a new roof. What's the widest net that they can cast to potentially get you in front of that person? It is likely hanging out on social media. And there's a lot of different angles that we can do on this, but we need to make sure that we're getting them to do a referral generating activity as soon as possible. This is part of wrapping up the job. Hey, if you had a friend or family member that needed a new roof, did we do a good enough job that you'd be willing to give us a referral? Yeah, you did a great job. Okay, awesome. Would you be interested in me telling you about how you can be a referral partner? Like, doesn't cost any money to join. We just would need you to do one easy, quick thing, and you'll get $25 for every appointment that we get, and we'll just send it to you in a Visa gift card or on Venmo, and you'll get $200 for every person that actually closes. So you'll get paid in a couple different ways. Okay, like how does it work? All you need to do is pull out your phone real quick. Let's take a selfie in front of your awesome new roof, and then let's post about it on social media in a neighborhood Facebook group. I'll make sure that anyone that comes in, we're asking where they found us. If they say that they found us from a post, we'll make sure that we figure out that it's you, and we'll get you rewarded. You won't have to come chase us. That is an approach that can get them to do something very quickly that will potentially get you in front of massive amounts of people. This works. You could skip all of the neighborhood marketing stuff and just do this, and you would have a big bump of growth within your business. If you are spending a nerve-wracking amount of money on marketing, you need to control how you can cut your cost per acquisition, not just focus purely on giving a referral worthy experience and hoping that you get referrals. We do have to grab and create a scenario to where they are giving us a referral because we know we gave them a referral worthy experience, but we just have to make sure they have a clear medium and way to do that and not expect them just to randomly pull a list of names out of their butt of people that need a new roof when they clearly don't know that information. So we have to make it easy for them. Important note, get them to do the referral generating activity while you are there and as the first step to be a referral partner. This is how they become a referral partner. 2, script and structure a formalized process for getting them to sign up. I love a customer satisfaction survey. Get a piece of paper and print out 50 copies of just 10 different questions and check boxes where you're just, hey, did we provide you all the information you needed to make a good decision? Check. Did we give you enough color options? Yes, check. Did we ensure that you were able to have the roof taken care of through the insurance process? Check. Did you feel good about the financing options that we provided? Check. Just lay up questions. And then the final one is, did we do a good enough job that if you had a friend or family member that needed a new roof, you would be willing to refer us? Which is asking what? Did we do a referral worthy job? They say yes. We just stacked a bunch of yeses. Then we dive in and pounce and say, okay, awesome. This is how our referral process works. I'd really appreciate it if you became a referral partner, and we want to make sure you're getting rewarded for that. The third one, and I suggest all of you do this, but some people feel weird about it, but you shouldn't. Feel free to give them an ethical bribe, because you can likely get more exposure out the gate. So an easy one is, hey, I'll send you $100 right now if you post about us on post about your experience with us on Facebook, on your personal page, in a neighborhood group, and leave us a review. But you only want to do that because we don't want to do an unethical bribe. We want to do an ethical bribe. We only want to do that after they say, yes, you are someone I would give a referral to. So this is how we make sure we're staying above the line. Getting this stuff down and getting this stuff right can transform your business. And a final note, one happy client can give you tens of to hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue worth of referrals. I would imagine if anyone here has been in business for a time, there's probably a couple people that come to mind that have just been referral powerhouses for you. And you didn't really have to do much to get it to happen. So now imagine if you could create many of those. If you could create a scenario where that great experience that you provided is always advertised on your behalf by someone other than you. Huge unlock, and we need to make sure we're treating it like that. So, guys, that's my presentation. My encouragement to you is take this seriously. Figure out how to structure a referral process that works for you, that gets them to do referral generating activities. Don't be afraid to pay them to do referral generating activities if they have previously said, yes, I would be willing and interested in giving you referrals if it came up. And also, make sure that before you even really get all that figured out, that you are giving a referral worthy experience. That is key. If you want to maximize this, give them real stuff to talk about. Give them real things that are unique that they can say when they're posting about you on social media. We loved working with Kobe and his team. He was so helpful. He was so thorough. They kept our yard very clean. They even put some netting around our plants and in front of our landscaping to make sure that nothing messed with that. I feel like the yard was cleaner by the time they left than before they even started. And on top of that, as we were wrapping the project up, Kobe brought my dog a bone. Little stuff. They talk about that, and that's part of what they post. We're going even further in the know, like, and trust zone before someone even has to reach out to you. So take this stuff seriously. Figure out what it needs to look like for you. It doesn't have to look exactly how I described. You can change the way it's compensated. You can give them things or vacations. I used to even talk about like a lottery, to where every person who posted on social media was entered into a monthly drawing. Like there's a lot of different cool, creative ways that you can do this. But figure out what referral generating activities do you want to get them to do, and make sure that that is part of your referral process and your referral system. And make a process and make a system for it. This stuff is as important as being a great closer. It's as important as a lot of the things that we put most of our focus on when we could be focusing on this. So I appreciate you guys. Hope this was valuable. If it was, I would really appreciate it if you just posted in the school group, just on the feed, so that anyone who's not been coming to the calls gets a little FOMO and starts, so that we can just make the roofing industry a little bit better of a place by all making sure that we're optimizing and working on creating businesses that are referral worthy, which I think would be a pretty noble and good thing to do. Thank you all. We'll talk soon. Later.